Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Jesus TV. My return subscribers, you all know that I won't start this gist without saying thank you for always coming back to listen to my gist and your wonderful comments, your opinion. Of course, you all know it means a lot to me. And my new viewers, you're welcome. Please make yourselves comfortable, and of course I bring gist to your table. Okay, so now the latest gist now is talking about Ooni of Ife's first wife, his first wife, before he became king, Olori Bukola Bombata. You already know the story now. I mean, bloggers has been carrying it. You all know that according to the gist, that Ooni of Ife and Olori Bukola dated for like several. They met in the UK, where Ooni of Ife stayed for his education, and of course you all know Ooni of Ife stayed in the UK. So before he now married her, and it was then that the throne for anyone to become the Ooni of Ife, to be the ruler in Ife, was vacant. So all the ruling houses, they were told to bring their candidates, to bring their representative. So that was when Ooni of Ife came back. At first, they were having issues because Olori Bukola, Mrs. Bukola, wanted a private lifestyle. She knows that if finally Ooni of Ife, her husband, then becomes the king, that means that she has to relocate from the UK, where she has lived all her life, where she grew up. Of course, she grew up in the UK and she's a citizen. That means she has to relocate from the UK to Nigeria, to Ile-Ife, to stay with her husband. And all her life she's been in the UK. She doesn't know much about her culture, like she's working there already, her siblings, her family. So like she thought about it. That was how the gist went. She thought about it and it was like, if you become the king, that means we won't this marriage might not work out. Because I was hearing the gist how it was going, I was like, no, that was not how. They didn't just get divorced. So the thing is that immediately when the king now became when they nominated Ooni of Ife, because he's from a ruling house. So when they nominated him and he passed through the interviews, rituals and everything, and he became the king, he now asked his wife, Mrs. Bukola, if they now tried the long distance marriage to see how it is going to happen. And at first everything was going well because they were in communication. She used to come, she used to go, you know but then social media was not, like vast as now. Nobody knows much about social media, so that is why a lot of people didn't get to see her face properly, and all that, doesn't even know her in person. So all of a sudden she said she cannot be doing this, like this distance marriage cannot actually work for she and the king. That was how she stopped coming to Nigeria, and they lost all communication. But I don't know if, because they got married legally, uh in they got married legally. Anyhow you talk about marriage, they were, as in, she was fully married to the king. So but about them being divorced, nobody know what actually happened. Nobody knows how, if they were fully divorced. But the bloggers are carrying it as saying that they were not fully divorced, so therefore she's still very much married to the king. But the thing is that nobody knows, even in UK, nobody knows her, because I mean, this is the reason, one of the reasons why she says she doesn't want to marry, she doesn't want to still stay in the marriage. that she cannot do what is involved. And this being a king is a spiritual something. It's not something that anyone can handle. You have to be a very strong woman to be the king's wife. Do you understand? You have to be a very strong. It's not everybody that can stay. you know that is why Olori actually has stayed all these years. And you all know, I mean, she had to find fulfillment. She has to hear from her, as she has to hear from the gods that she's serving, to know, okay, if she really want to, if she thinks she can do it. Of course, you all know she can do it. That's why she's there. So Mrs. Bukola now left, and that was how they said Olori, no, this woman, something Odua, brought Queen Wurola. But the thing is that Queen Wurola and the king met in a. Queen Wurola is a social bird. Like, she's always everywhere. She was made even before she married the king. I like the woman is an industrious woman. Apart from her beauty, I mean, she's the Edo woman. She knows her in and out. She knows personalities. She knows people. So I think it was in a function that they met, not really through Yeye Odua. That's Abi Yeye Odua, that the king met Olori Wura, who is the king's wife. But the thing that baffles me is, how come that, I mean, the women married to the king as of then were not able to give birth until Queen Naomi now came, because Queen Naomi said that God revealed to her that she was going to be the first married woman to the king to have a child for the king. Not that the king doesn't have children with his ayabas. Like, he has children with his ayabas, and there are so many. The king has children that you don't even know of. And a lot of them they are all girls, female children. Not like female children are not okay, but as a king, he wants to have a son, so that tomorrow the son would want to contest, and fill in the shoes of his father, which is every man's dream, every woman's dream, every household's dream. So now, the first woman, Mrs. Bukola, did not give birth for the king. Queen Wurola could not give birth for the king. So when Queen Naomi came, she heard the prophecy. She got the prophecy that she was going to be the one to give birth for the king. Do you understand? And yes, and it happened. And she was the first wife of the king to give birth for the king. And when she gave birth, she now gave birth to Prince Tade. Do you understand? So that was how everybody now believed that Queen Naomi has broken whatever cause it was, whatever thing that it was, that was holding the king back. Do you understand? So now, that is it. So Mrs. Bukola did not give birth for the king. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows if they were truly divorced, or they are still married, or she just disappeared. Nobody knows her location as of now. Of course, nobody will know, because as of then, not everybody, if it is now that there is social media, I mean, if she's a celebrity, everybody will know the person. Everybody will know. If you don't know the person, you just Google and you will see her pictures. Even now, we get to see her pictures, but nobody truly knows her location or her recent appearance. Okay, so that is what is happening. I mean, that was what happened. Not like they divorced because the king doesn't want to marry her again or other. It was a distance marriage, and she couldn't do the things that were involved. And to be a king's wife, you all know, just like I said, it is not everybody that can fill in that position and remain there. And you all know, because if you know, even Queen Naomi could not stay. Even Queen Wurola, with all her exposure, with all her, she couldn't even stay. So the wives that the Ifa priest picked for the king, because the king asked questions: what is happening? Why are these women not staying in my life? And why was it that the ones that I married could not give birth before not after Queen Naomi came that she was able to give birth to for him, and of course gave birth to a child, gave birth to a bouncing baby boy for him. So what really happened? And he was scared to marry again. He was scared to get in love, as in fall in love again, before the Ifa prisoner assured him that this is what the God says and all that. And of course all the prophecies came to pass. You all already know that these women in the king's life were chosen for him by the gods, and of course, so you don't have any other option than to accept them and honor them as it stands. Anyways, this is the gist about the king's first wife, because I've been seeing the gist, other gist, you know, going around and all that and all that. But she doesn't want to be. She just doesn't want. Some people are like that. They just doesn't want to be in your screen. They don't want to be in your faces. They just want to live a quiet lifestyle, and that is exactly what she's doing. Thank you so very much for always coming and for viewing my channel. Please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like and share my videos. Have a nice day.